Hey everyone, and welcome to the Climb 2 developer livestream. Today is our launch day, and today we are here with Mato, our principal level designer. Hey Mato.
Hi.
And Fatih, our senior producer. Hey Fatih, how is it going today?
Hello.
And myself, Benza, I'm the social media manager. And as I said, today we are going to dive into our new release, the Climb 2. So let's just start, guys. Beautiful. This is our Climb 2 logo, and we are very excited to talk about this today. And let's just take a look what we have in store for you today. And we're gonna look back on the Climb Bonamit, show what's new in the Climb 2, and even show you a bunch of new gameplay mechanics, gameplay footage, and even a Q&A session at the end. And as I said, it's finally here. Today is our launch day. The game is releasing today at 7 p.m. CET, which is the European time. So it may vary in your region, but it is actually in less than 3 hours, guys. Are you guys excited?
So awesome. That's so awesome. Finally.
Yes, we are always excited to see our product release that we put into a lot of efforts.
Exactly.
It's an exciting moment.
Exactly. So as I mentioned earlier, we started with the Climb 1, and we are the Climb 2 because the Climb 1 was actually really successful, and I think it was a great game. And let's just take a look back at it. So we released the Climb 1 in 2016 on the Oculus Rift originally. And I believe it was, to start with, it was just like a sitting experience when you used controllers. That's correct, right? And then later on, we released a free expansion called the North, which included our touch support, which actually enhanced the gameplay experience a lot, I believe. And players really enjoyed it. And then last year, it's already 2 years ago actually, the time goes really quickly, we released the Quest version, which is obviously wireless on the Quest 1, and it also works on the Quest 2. That was in the very end of 2019. And
finally, without cable.
Yeah, it's actually I think way nicer to experience like all the climbing and just to be completely free without any like limits, especially in such a sport game like the Climb. Not have to be connected to a PC is a great change, I feel like.
And the important part is you can take basically Quest or Quest 2 anywhere, and you can show what makes VR so special. Because with Rift, with all the cables you had to carry on, it wasn't really easy thing to do. So I use, for example, the Quest 2 to show a lot of great VR content to family members to get them excited about VR.
Exactly. I think there's been like some YouTube videos as well when players took the Quest to like a climbing location and showed like actual climber the game. It was really fun. You guys should check it out for sure. And yeah, with that, we arrived to the Climb 2 5 years later. And it is actually coming today to the Quest and the Quest 2 as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of new elements and new settings in the game, which we will dive right into right after this slide. But first, we had another cool video, which you may have seen yesterday by Red Bull. So let's just take a quick look at that together. Exactly. So that was another really cool footage of the Climb 2, which you will experience very soon. But without further ado, let's talk about what is new in the Climb 2. So obviously we have familiar gameplay mechanics. If you play the Climb 1, it's very familiar experience. So everything translates pretty nicely. So if you are like pretty good in the first game, you won't really have much problem in the second one to understand the base game mechanics. But we made sure that it's way less static than the first one, so we added a bunch of things. Can you guys tell us about it a bit more?
So, Pence, as you said, our objective, even for the very first installment of the Climb, has been to create a game that is basically enjoyable and playable by everyone, be it with gaming experience or without gaming experience. And for us, it was important to keep that DNA and basically iterate on what didn't work out very well in the first installment. And we will talk about that a bit later, but basically we took a look on what was a pain point, and we have seen that chalking was one of them, for example. Another one was how to clean the dirty grips, as we call them in the game. And also the user interface overall has been reworked. And in addition to that, Mato, the static aspect, you want to go ahead?
Exactly. While the Climb 1 has a wonderful setting, beautiful rocks you climb on, everything is very static. There are only very few elements that were dynamic, like a zip line or a gondola you were climbing on. We've seen people being very excited about this as soon as they are on climbing on moving elements. So we try to add as much as possible stuff like this into the levels. So that includes ropes that react to the player's weight, ladders that are somewhere hanging on the side of the mountain, or containers in the city setting. And yeah, as you climb on them, the player weight will actually make them move around. So you can possibly use this to your advantage by jumping on them with full speed and add some additional velocity, and then the object starts to swing, and as you jump off it again, you might take that velocity with you. This is and this, like, having these dynamic objects in there makes the player just feel more immersed. You feel more connected with the world. It's not just a static environment. It's these little things that make you connect with the world more often. So yeah, we can probably show some videos here.
Yeah, let's just take a look then. We have a few videos, as Mata said.
Yeah, so this is, for example, a container in the city setting, and it's only this one because it's very heavy. It's not reacting too crazy to the player, but you can see a slight motion in there. And yeah, I'm I'm looking forward to see people's reaction, like when they feel this, when they play this the first time.
It also looks really fun that you can move around to different places like that.
To also support what Mato said previously about an immersive experience, I mean, yeah, we had natural settings in the past, we have them still, but we added a city setting. Basically, that's the video you see. You know, people can associate to that because any of us has been to a bigger city that has skylines, obviously. And the vertigo you get in the city setting is even stronger than in the natural setting, in my mind. And as somebody who is afraid of height, it took me quite some, let's say, courage and, bold to actually complete the city levels.
Yeah, so here I was doing a bigger leap onto this object, and yeah, the more force you add to it, or depending on where you climb on it, is it more to the left or to the right, the object will just behave naturally in the way you would expect it.
Cool. And how many elements do we have like this in the game? Do you know? Like, is like almost everything reacting to the weight?
No, it's obviously going. It's very level specific, so we can't have this everywhere, and we still have regular surfaces where you climb. These are we have obviously chosen to not place them everywhere. That we have them in a certain pace. So there's once in a while this hero element, like this ladder here, for example, which will start sliding down as you climb on it. And yeah, and then you need a break from this. Like you can't have all these action moments the entire time. So there's some cooldown, and then something else will come.
And how many options do you have to take different paths, or how does that work?
We have seen people they see this ladder and they say I don't want to climb this. This looks too dangerous, and they say this looks already like it will fall off. So they take the route to the left, as you can see here. We usually try to offer options to avoid to force the player into these crazy moments. Sometimes there is none. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet.
You have to do it. Awesome. Let's just finish this video and then we can continue with our changes. But I really like how this ladder slides down. It would be so scary.
And the sound it makes, it gives you the kick.
Yes. Okay, so that's for the physical elements of the game, but we also reworked the UI. As you can see on this image, this is our old UI with like the practice and all the different levels, and here is our new one. Maybe you guys want to say a few things about that?
So basically, again, we have evaluated everything basically in terms of what worked well and what didn't work well. One thing we have seen is that the UI was great even for Climb 1, don't get me wrong, but it felt a bit cluttered. It felt a bit like lacking focus. So basically that's what made us rework the UI. As you can see on the screen itself, so basically you see, first of all, the settings. So you navigate between the settings, and then in the next screen, I think we have that. You see each maps within the settings. So it promotes what the setting is about, what you can expect basically, and then it gives you an option to choose the levels that you want to play. And obviously we have different difficulty levels, easy, medium, hard you can play. But overall the UI is really much more focused. It feels less cluttered, especially for those that didn't play the previous installment. And last but not least, it also provides us a foundation for future development. Basically, it's scalable.
Awesome. And that one big new addition is the sliding grips we have added with this Climb 2. And that is about 14-degree angles, which are actually sliding down if you grab them. And these can you can actually fall down if you do not release them in time as you are sliding downwards. But on the other hand, if you time your jump correctly, you can actually gain some momentum and reach further and jump further and with higher speed. So why did we add this, or why do you guys think that's a great addition?
It's another it's a new grip type that adds excitement. It's similar to a crumbling grip. That's like in every game you step on something and it starts to rumble, and you know exactly you're gonna have a specific amount of time, and then you have to react. So this puts some, let's say, pressure on the player, and the slide is a similar kind of idea. It's you grab something and you have a specific amount of time. In this moment, it's not like a random artificial time we count down. No, it's just you starting to slide down depending on how much angled it is. Like it can be around 45 degree, but it can be a bit steeper. It can be a bit less steep. And depending on that, you accelerate more or less, and you can use this to your advantage. If you want to progress really quick through the level, you can try to jump on them, take your velocity, slide down, increase the speed a bit, and then jump off and, I don't know, break the record in the speed climbing. Yeah, so they add excitement because you need to react and be fast when you want to use them in the perfect way. Yeah, and if you don't react and you just, oh my god, I'm sliding down, and you're just gonna fall. And maybe you're lucky and you just hit a grip after it, but there are some levels that don't have that.
Awesome, and we will also show you guys some videos, and for those who are asking about the questions, we'll answer your questions in the end, so please keep them, or we will already monitoring the chat, but we will have a Q&A section at the very end, so don't worry, we will talk about your questions as well. And let's just take a look at the sliding grips in action then.
So this is kind of a side route in the City Easy level, and yeah, here we see going like from slide to slide. This is like the ideal way how to like really be fast on a specific route, and then you can do all speed records if you want.
Let's look at it once more.
Believe me or not, this is the section I hated most because, again, as somebody who's afraid of height, that makes you sweat and scream for sure.
I mean, you have to jump at the very end, basically, which is scary. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and you take so much momentum. It's really cool, and then it's just a very rewarding thing to time it right and to reach the end. Here's another video where I just it's not really. It's just on the side of the level, kind of, and I'm just climbing back and forth to see, like, you can even slide upwards slightly. Like when you take some momentum in there, you would slide up a bit.
Oh, wow.
Until you start sliding down. You can try to climb up, but at some point you would just you can't really go up the slide.
And I
yeah,
feel like you have way more options to like climb around in general compared to the first game. Like you can basically just go wherever you want here.
yeah,
just play around.
the city setting here. I mean, we have lots of different surfaces we climb on. Here in the specific area, you're climbing on the scaffolding on the side of a building. Yeah, and later on in the session we will see all the other surfaces. You climb on the brick building, you climb on a pre-made surface. But yeah, we'll talk about this later anyway. That's about the sliding group.
Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, it provides a higher risk since you can easily fall, but also a higher reward with the extended jumps and speed. And as you guys have seen in our videos, we basically showed the city settings, but that's our very, very new environment, which is very different than our previous natural environments. So obviously, as you've seen it, it's an actual city with skyscrapers all around you and like streets underneath you and building materials all around. And it provides a lot of interesting varied surfaces where you can climb around and slide around, as you can see, walk on walls, and it's just really fun. And it provides a whole new experience as well. And I don't know if you guys want to say anything about why we decided to go with the city.
I want to point out, because we mentioned that we also support or feature the previous settings that our game is known for, and then we have added a brand new setting. Be assured, all maps have been created from scratch, so even if you have played the previous installment and you might jump on this and play Climb 2, even if the setting itself might feel familiar, the routes are completely new. And as Benz also mentioned, they provide more variety in how to get up to the top, basically. And the reason why we took city is we have experimented with some occasional man-made objects in Climb 1, but this time we wanted to do something that promotes dynamic elements, as Mato mentioned, but also is something that people can relate to. Like I said, most of us have been most likely to a big city, and we have used Miami Beach as an inspiration for the city setting, but it's our own take. So basically it doesn't mirror a real world location. And also one of the skylines might seem very familiar for people that are living in Frankfurt. You might will spot one of the buildings that will make you think of Frankfurt. So basically what we wanted to convey is an urban city life where you basically are challenged by the vertigo, and also the sense of the sensation overall to climb up there. I mean, we have when we started thinking about a specific setting, we have explored different ideas. We had even fantasy setting in mind and stuff like that. But one thing that really created excitement and it was like, wow, that's crazy to do, was like those guys that have a GoPro on their head and basically climb up huge buildings. I'm not going to refer to specific videos, but you know what I mean. And those videos and those inspiration really basically made us decide on this, because we said we need to convey that in VR, and that will be a fucking great experience, basically.
I mean, I started one video of the city settings. Sorry for the buffering on the video. But as you can see, it's just the city all around you, and it's like really crazy animals all around and just very scary.
Here we see, for example, one of the surfaces, the brick surface we climb on. So in the city setting, we have a variety of surfaces we climb on. We felt in the early prototyping that it feels not good enough to climb on just one surface the entire time, like you kind of do in the natural settings. But there it's just natural, and there's no questions asked, and it just works. Here, but here we choose different things. Like you see here, this is currently the brick section, and then on the left you see actually the scaffolding, and then on the other side, where the B flag was, we see like a straight glass facade where you will also climb on things. Here at the beginning we see like the actually, let's talk about the billboard. I mean, this is one of the other dynamic elements that are implemented, like a changing surface where you have to time or like look where the next grip's appearing, and it will change with all the images. So yeah, you better look ahead and make sure you don't fall like I did there, because I was like surprised.
That's pretty cool. I actually played around with the game as well, and these billboards are so hard to figure out first. I was like, wait, what do I have to do? And obviously Matho, who is recording the gameplay videos, is really good at the game, as you can see from his movement, so maybe it looks a bit easier than it actually is.
Yeah.
Let's just take a look at this video once more and then we can continue. Did you fall on purpose or did you actually fall?
Well, for the sake of the video, it might have been intentional.
Yes.
I mean, I've built that specific billboard. I know where the grips are, and yeah, I'm playing the game every day. I know the mechanics. I know how. So yeah, but for this video, it was good.
Actually, I think we even have more videos to show you guys. So let's just jump back to it. We have the cleaning robots.
Yeah, so this is about more like things that are in motion. We all like things that move. You climb on. We have seen these references on the internet where they're actually cleaning robots, like kind of sucking to the wall, and they move around. And I was like amazed that this exists, and we just took this forward and said, okay, let's climb on these. Yeah, and maybe to some people this is like it's maybe it's a feeling like, you know, Mission Impossible, where Tom Cruise climbs on the side of a skyscraper. This is kind of where the idea comes from. And we have some that are actually falling off. So you see, like the batteries is kind of empty, and then this is the kind of crumbling grip for this specific grip type, the so-called suction cups.
You definitely feel like a spy climbing up on a building like that. Wow. Is it possible that some fall off and then you can't complete the level anymore, or is there always a way around it?
There's pretty much always a way. We try to avoid these kind of blockers that you can climb into. Yeah, so we make sure of that. This is another thing we're trying, like to climb on already moving elements, like elevators. And here this is already like you have to play this level often, so to take the velocity, to take the momentum the elevator has, and then to just jump to the next one. And these moments are really great when you have the right timing. Then this game is just really wonderful to play.
And you know, jumping in VR is not. It might seem very easy in this video, but like I said, as somebody who's afraid of height, it takes a time to get used to that. It's not an uncomfortable experience. It's more like jumping in real life is not fun, but in VR, yeah, that's quite immersive. Especially if you're up hanging up there on one of the skyscrapers, basically.
Yeah, what we saw was a bit of the city hard level. So there the player can't get around the jumps. You just have to do it.
Exactly. But talking of the city environments, that's not the only new thing we have environment-wise. As Fatih mentioned earlier, every map is built from the ground up. So they are not exactly the same, even if they look similar. So therefore we have new natural maps with also new dynamic elements in those. And we have a bunch of new challenges as well. And yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I just wanted to show the video.
Okay, you show the video. I can talk as we maybe watch the video then.
Cool. So let's look at it.
Yeah, so this is the idea of how we bring dynamic objects into the natural levels. We thought of climbing equipment that's used by other kind of climbers that were there or that are still there, and yeah, they will react to the player's motion and again help just getting an immersive feeling.
One thing I want to maybe highlight here is, I mean, those that played the climb either on Rift or Quest previously, as you know, the difficulty has been reflected in the time of day, and we have done a different approach this time. So basically, the time of day is still makes it more readable, or not that readable, let's say, when in finding the next grip. But for us, it was important that the difficulty is coming basically by the elements that the nature or the environment promotes. It's not much not much impacted by the time of day. It's more like a path we defined. As Matu said, we have more dynamic elements also in the natural setting compared to the previous installment. And we wanted to still keep the stuff that worked from level design, visual language point of view, but add elements that we felt could create exciting gameplay moments.
Here we just have a few pictures to like show you guys the environments. As you can see, there's a bunch of moving elements around you, and like ropes to climb across mountains. It's just really cool. Here's another one. I think this may be the one that we just seen in the video, or
Yeah,
That's the north.
Yeah.
the north
Yes.
setting.
exactly. The third one, as you can see, like you can slide across mountains.
Oh, actually, for the north, there is maybe something to mention for those that played the north previously. So it was more focused, let's say, on ice and lava in the past. Now, and it wasn't that green. Now, our take on that setting is we made it greener. Basically, when you start with the easy map throughout the progression through the setting, let's say, you will also see that so basically medium and hard levels, you will see that the entire environment turns greener. So, I mean, North has been inspired by Iceland and all the other, let's say, countries around that. So, and we wanted to give it a more green touch to be more connected to the real world location, basically.
Awesome. And I think that's about our new environments. But we have a lot more new things in store for you, just like the new unlock system, which is basically all easy levels are unlocked to start with, which you can choose in between. And obviously, to unlock the harder levels, you have to complete the previous stage. So for the medium unlocks, you have to complete the easy level, and for the hard ones, you have to complete the medium ones. And we have removed the star collection system from the game.
Yeah. So basically, our game mode has two difficulty levels. You have on the one hand tourist mode, which gives you free exploration. It is not gamified, so basically it doesn't have stamina and chalk, and that you can be used and you can play any level. But if you play the professional level, what you said, Bans, is applied. So basically, you need to unlock for the medium level, you need to play the easy level, and for the hard level, you need to complete the medium level. But we got rid of from the star collection to give players a bit more freedom to choose which order they want to play, basically.
Awesome. And other than the unlock system, we reworked multiple elements of the game, such as the tutorial. So obviously we have added the new features and the process how it works, and it includes all the new elements to try out. And the other thing that annoyed some players is that you couldn't start the tutorial right away, but you had to wait the voice to explain you what to do. But now you can start right away. Anything else to add for the tutorials?
I think that's a good summary of what we reworked in terms of tutorial.
Awesome. Then we also reworked the chalking mechanics. I think Mato already mentioned it a bit. But since players experienced issues when they try to chalk their hands during climbing, we have made it somewhat easier for them to do it. So it needs slightly less time to complete the chalking, and also the hand movements are simplified, so it doesn't, like, sometimes you just had to shake your hand way too much and it didn't always work, and now it's just simpler and it just works better.
Yeah, I think the most important part we understood was it wasn't readable, basically. I mean, the chalking was readable, obviously. It was in your face, you got hands that were chalked, but it was not clear how long you need to shake your hands and so on. So it was a pain point, especially for non-gamers, let's say. Again, our objective has been to create a game that is being enjoyed by everyone, or can be enjoyed by everyone. And as such, we said we need to rework this for the climb too.
Yeah, the one thing in the first climb, chalking was also a bit more of a punishing thing. we tried to make it like the chalking animation was kind of long, and it would just stop your flow a bit too much. And now, and since the rechalk motion you had to do was so erratic, it was even kind of for some people more exhausting than to just continue climbing. Like the motion you had to do was more exhausting than what it actually should do. And now chalking is way more relaxing. Like you do, I climb myself in indoor climbing halls, and when you start to have tired hands, what you do is you just relax your hand by twisting it a bit, let it hang down a bit, and that twist motion is pretty much exactly what we do now for chalking. I mean, obviously you don't grab into a chalk bag and imaginary, but we use just this motion you would naturally do for reclimbing as well, and say this is chalking now, and that feels just way better.
Awesome. And it's not just the chalking we reworked, but also the cleaning, which is very similar. So with that also players had issues cleaning the dirt, but now they can just do it by holding the grip button, and it will automatically clean the surfaces when you do that.
Yeah, so we have seen in the previous installment that some people didn't really understand how to clean, or they were really standing above or next to the grip, let's say they were supposed to clean. It was just a frustrating moment, right? And especially if you are into the competitive element with the ghost race, we felt it was not to players' advantage. So basically we reworked it to make it more readable and also more easier to navigate in the world, basically, once you clean the grip.
Awesome. And let's talk a bit about the future that you can expect from the Climb 2 after looking at all the new features. So first of all, we want to let you know that your feedback is very important for us. So we are very excited to see your reactions to the game, your videos, your reviews of the game, and also your feedback about what would you like improved in the future, optimized or changed in the future, and we will be monitoring that very closely. So please make sure to reach out to us on social media, or as I mentioned, in videos, messages, whatever, and we will take that very serious and look into your feedback.
I'm so looking forward to see Let's Plays and live streams of the climb. I'm gonna look a lot of videos the next days, see how people react to all the new things we've implemented. Maybe people some might experience more motion sickness on the moving objects, some might not at all. This is very interesting, like in the end. It's important to get as much feedback as possible, and it's to get to see the people being excited playing the game is just awesome. So looking forward to see that.
And we can say that more is coming soon to the climb. Maybe Fatih, you can share something regarding that.
Yeah, so there will be, so like you said, we will monitor closely, see if and what we need to address, be it as terms of a patch or hotfix. But in a sense, we have quite a lot of exciting elements that we'll bring that will create additional challenges or create will be different than the normal course of gameplay, let's say, without going into details, because we want to keep that for the next dev stream. But in a sense, our objective is to sustain our community, to create, to have them enjoy the climb and give them more enjoyment and excitement as we go.
So again, keep an eye out for like all the social media going on or future dev streams, as Fatih mentioned, and you will find out more about what's to come in the future. But we came to a point to take a look at an exclusive gameplay that we just recorded to show you. And Matho, I think, will dive us or like walk us through it mostly. And let's just take a look together.
Yeah, let's just start it. I mean, unfortunately, we could have done it live, but there is like a delay of around 30 seconds between me playing live and we seeing the things. So, and to comment things is just way nicer. I really did not want to punch the cat here. The cat, it looks like a punch, but I just wanted to just
push it out.
Interact with a balloon.
Let's say you wanted to caress the cat and you punched it accidentally. Cat puncher, chat is saying.
There is no achievement for doing that, by the way.
Here's this is like one of the climbing surfaces, like a constructed surface for the climbing event. So it's put on the side of a building, and so this is kind of artificial, but it still provides us with a very flexible way of putting grips into the level and providing a nice challenge to the player.
And you could
Yeah.
just see the new chalking mechanic. Basically, it was just that wrist movement Mato mentioned, and it was pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, here we are seeing like we're coming across this elevator shaft of this kind of outside elevator. Yeah, it's always great to have these strong vertical lines that will just help with the depth and with the height you climb. It's gonna make you just feel a lot more higher up than in the nature settings. As perspective, like, just shows you this is that high, and you see all the little the cars down there, and you know exactly how big cars are. Yeah.
It's actually pretty scary, to be honest. I'm not really scared of heights, but like when I tried it, it's like very creepy to look down from with these weird angles just hanging there, and you can like, it feels very realistic obviously in VR because it feels like you're there. Just pretty scary.
I think the most important part is we don't hear this. The sound itself, right? This has a big impact on that, because especially crumpling grips, as Mato mentioned, they make the sound of breaking, right? And that sound, especially if you know how things work, it's unpleasant, right? The sound is scary enough, and then you see that part falling apart, basically. Yeah, so there are quite a lot of important elements that are also being triggered by the sound itself, and I think our audio design team has done an amazing job on that front.
Yeah, we're always trying to be as close to the objects as possible to have interaction possibilities. So the bell here in a reachable range, so the player can play around with it and ringing it one more time. Yeah. So Fatih, how long do you play this level usually?
We don't want to talk about that. I shouldn't be the benchmark.
So it's since I play this level a lot, I think my high score is around 1 minute 30.
Yeah, that's like
run. Yeah.
That's 15 times more than I need. I need 15 more times than that, actually. So roughly 15-20 minutes is what like I said. I do demonstrate VR to a lot of family members, brothers, sisters, whatever, and especially if they use VR for the first time and they play Climb for the first time, it's clear that the controls are intuitive, because I don't really need to explain that a lot. But you can see those that that are afraid of height, they're holding tight their controls, and I'm doing the same. When I play the city setting, I'm holding them even tighter.
Oh yeah. So we could just what we just saw around the corner was some of the crumbling grips. Ben's question: is in the live stream? Do the people hear the audio or?
Yes, they can. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they can hear us better, but they can hear the audio. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, see, like our ambient live, like the butterfly, for example, they react to the player. If you get too close to them, they will fly away. All those little details.
And no worries, we don't have anything that attacks you. So we don't have jump scares. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
I mean, you create your own jump scares, technically.
Yes.
I think in the trailer, Fatih, wasn't there a snake attacking you?
Well, it does, but it's not a jump scare. Jump scare will be you're climbing around, let's say, the windows, and all of a sudden somebody pushes you to the street, right? That will be a crazy jump scare, for example. We don't have that. It's the Climb, Climb 1 and 2 actually are designed to give you the thrill of rock climbing in basically in your living room, so to say. And for us, it's been always important to make the game as highly accessible as possible and give people really the sensation of VR and what makes VR special, which is obviously a combination of audio and sounds, but also the immersion that is possible when you have a high visual fidelity, which based upon our tech CryEngine has been something we have achieved with the first one and also with the second one. I think the visual fidelity talks for itself.
Here you guys can see the physics again on the containers as earlier.
So you see here, like in the first part of the level was the climb surface for the event, and we use the zip line. We have the brick section. We have now some dynamic elements to come to switch between the buildings. It was really important to have different types of surfaces you climb on, because if it would all be just one surface, it works well in the nature settings, but in the city settings we experienced actually the variety is really refreshing every time you play it. So here I'm using a bit of the slide, not too much. Yeah, we also have some. We see here on the right side the building. We have some technology, the so-called interior shader. The building actually has some depth to it. Some rooms we can look into. New features the CryEngine has.
You're just playing around with that.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, you managed to do it though. By the way, if you guys can hear the sounds, it always sounds like it's gonna totally break under you, like these cracking voices.
Yeah, audio does a great job in highlighting these details, and this is just super important to have audio feedback for everything. We also have a great so-called spatializer that makes the sound coming from above you, below you, sound differently, and it works very nice with the headset audio. You really have a very good audio perception, like how things are, how they are far away, and how the reverb reacts. Sometimes you even hear the player voice echoing when you do a jump, and you hear an echo a few like a few milliseconds later. It's really impressive.
Awesome. And I think we shouldn't spoil the end of this level and just jump into our Q&A section in the last 10 minutes. So so I hope you guys enjoyed that little gameplay segment. You will have to play a bit more to figure out how the level ends. But as I said, now it's time to ask your questions. I don't know if Fatima, do you have the maybe one chat open so you can see some as well?
Maybe I'll just open up an own real Twitch side myself.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if it's asked, but we have been asked always in the past. Why not do a multiplayer climbing game? So again, we have an established DNA with our game. Our game has been a solo experience from the get-go. We wanted to stay true to that DNA. And there are certain aspects a real-time multiplayer game you would expect, like you would expect a full body or another player being reflected in the world. And we feel this was too much of a challenge to sort out. And we said, let's focus on our strengths, which is, again, beautiful environments, the thrill of rock climbing on your own. And basically, VR is all about your own moment. And that's what we wanted to stick to. I'm not sure if this has been asked. If not,
it has been actually.
Okay, good. So. I just wanted to get that because I know that this will be asked.
So some people asked if there's a difference between the Quest 1 and 2 version and if it's 90 Hertz on the Quest 2.
Yes, so the biggest difference is actually, I mean, obviously when you create a VR game, the visual fidelity is quite important for immersion as much as like the navigation, interaction, and obviously the sound itself. So the difference between Quest and Quest 2 is mainly the ambient life. For Quest, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is ambient life also in Quest, but there is much more on Quest 2. Also, as Mato mentioned, we have higher details in terms of geometry in Quest 2. So basically, it's an upgrade on Quest 2. And the gameplay is very well also on Quest from a look and feel point of view, and the gameplay is the same on both. We didn't change anything specifically from gameplay perspective.
So because the technical question was asked, so we're not running at 90 frames, we do a 72. However, we do run on a native resolution on the Quest 2, which is like already higher than the Quest 1. And the Quest 1 runs at 90% of the native resolution. And resolution is something that's very important when it comes to perceiving the depth, to see how far things are away. And this just helps greatly in the experience when you climb, because height is just part of it. And having that extra depth, having that extra resolution is a real good thing.
Awesome. A lot of people are asking about the price of the game, actually.
So the Climb 2 will cost €29.99 dollars. And to celebrate our release, so there is a bundle out there that contains Climb 1 and 2 for $39.99. So if you didn't manage to play the first installment, now it's your time to buy Climb 1 and 2 actually.
And if you buy the Quest 2 version, you can also play that on the Quest 1, right? It's like works between both. Yes. For both games as well. Awesome. Other questions? Are there hidden cameras again?
Mato?
We do not have the hidden cameras anymore. We have lots of other things that are not really like little things you can do, like the balloon you have seen at the beginning. You know, maybe you find some other objects that might react to you, but they are not really forced, like, because if we have like this rule of one camera per level and it has to be somewhere, you know, it might be artificial to add this in some of the levels, and yeah, that's why we don't have that anymore. But there are plenty of things you can explore in the levels and see and figure out.
Someone asked if you still have the gloves, but I think we already seen, or did we not?
So we have obviously you get achievements, or you unlock achievements based upon certain distance, completion, and whatnot, and you get unlocks. And unlocks can be wristbands, gloves, and watches.
Awesome. Any other questions, guys, in the chat? Tourist mode, someone is asking. I think that we already said that you have like.
So we basically renamed the mode. So tourist mode was a bit in the last game, in the previous installment, it was a bit hidden. It was like not really in your face and visible that you can play this, and if you would play it, you wouldn't unlock all the levels. So now this time we have segmented it into casual and professional. So casual is our so-called tourist mode, where you don't have any stamina and you can just play all the levels from the get-go and just jump right in and show it to your parents, show it to friends, without explaining anything about the details in the controls. And then if you want to go like gamify it and do the leaderboard, climb up, be the best, then go the professional. However, we do have leaderboards also for casual. So if you want to do crazy speedruns in casual, totally possible.
Someone asked if the watches actually show the real time, or how do they work?
The watch is showing the time you actually take on the wall, and it starts ticking in the moment you grip the first grip, and it halts in the moment you are on one of the checkpoints. So the time on the watch is the raw climbing time of the level, not necessarily how long you played the level, because again, when you start and you're standing on the platform, the watch is not yet counting, and so what we count is really the raw gameplay, so you can compare this very nicely against other people on the scoreboard.
Awesome. So someone is asking if he hasn't played the Climb 1, can he play the Climb 2, or should he just get the bundle and play both?
He should get the bundle to play both, because I think and then he will understand also what we mean by that. Climb 2, even if it feels familiar from setting point of view, is played differently because it's a completely new maps. No, I think you don't need to have. I mean, there is no need to have played Climb 1 to buy Climb 2, but I think it's a nice complementary experience as a bundle.
I mean, you get just ton of more content. I mean, you get kind of double the amount of levels you can then explore and climb around, and that just for $10 more.
And actually, the good part is you can also follow how certain things have been a pain point and why we basically reworked them for Climb 2.
So someone was asking if the last gameplay we showed was actually captured on the Quest 2, because it looks really good, and I believe the answer is yes.
Yes, I have captured it on the Quest 2. The visual differences to the Quest 1, you probably wouldn't have spotted it in the video. Again, there's some bits and pieces less that we just can't afford on the Quest 1, like more birds or some details that you wouldn't even really miss when you play, but it's just beautiful. It's just more beautiful, but it's not anything that's gameplay relevant.
For those asking when the game releases, it actually releases in about 2 hours, so you won't have to wait too much anymore. Someone was asking if there's a boulder level.
Fatih?
Not currently, no.
Okay. Not currently, guys. Can you still press the AK to see where you have to go, like in the first game?
Yes, there is the, how do we call it? The path helper. So
Yeah, path helper.
if you are lost in the level, you can always play. Press a button and a helper will show you where to go. There's no way you will be super lost in any of the level. I mean, we usually try to not have the people use this because we're trying a level which has good leading, and you will figure out the path by yourself. You see the checkpoint flags, and you will just manage. You will manage it most of the time yourself.
Okay, guys, any last questions in the chat? Because I think we answered most of them. Will the climb ever take us to space? Well,
climbing on the moon. Why not?
How many levels are there in the game?
So there are 5 settings in total. There are 3 maps per setting, so basically 15 maps.
But the space idea, it really came. I had that once, and it's obviously some crazy thoughts, but I think it would be cool one day. But let's see. Let's see how people like the Climb 2, and then.
Awesome. And as for the last question, I think we should answer is how big the game is in size-wise, because obviously Quest is like a standalone platform. So how big is it?
Oh, that's a good one.
Size,
4.8 maybe, something
about 4 GB. Yeah.
The thing is, because I mean, I'm using obviously Oculus, and you download the game, but you don't really pay that much attention how much space a game takes, unless you run into space issues, let's say. So I don't know. We would need to check that.
It's definitely not 5. It's something 4.5, 4.3, something like that.
Yeah, so apparently the Oculus page also says 4.5, so that is probably correct. Okay, guys, I think that's it for questions. Now, if you have any further questions, as I mentioned earlier, you can always comment on our social media, message us, write us anywhere, and we will try to get back to you as soon as we can. But for now, I hope you will all enjoy the release of the Climb 2 in about 2 hours, exactly 2 hours now. So we are very excited to see that, and thank you all for spending this 1 hour with us. Thank you, Fatih and Matho, for guiding us through all the changes and all the features. And yeah, I hope you will all enjoy your time with the game, and see you later.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Bye.
The game, get
Bye-bye.
it. Awesome. It's out now. Soon. 2 hours.
Soon, very soon. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.